Hello everyone, it's me Clayson. I just finished watching episode 8 of Young Justice Phantoms. Now, after the events of the last episode, it seems that Artemis and Cheshire are just about to rescue Orphan, when turns out Lady Shiva has all of her assassins in the League of Shadows ready to take out our heroes. So not only do we find out the truth behind Cassandra Savage and how she managed to fool everyone throughout the previous episodes, to the point where even the fight that Rictus and Black Spider had with our heroes a few weeks ago was staged. Not only that, but turns out Cassandra was also going to leak some information to Vandal Savage while she was at the base. All without our heroes even knowing about it at the time. But turns out they're going to screw up that last part of the plan, considering that not only do we get a really cool fight scene in the dark, where all of our heroes get to do some really cool blade fights and cool stuff with their powers, but there's also quite a bit more blood and gore in this episode than you'd expect. Again, it's another benefit from this being a streaming show as opposed to being on TV, because they can get away with a lot of this bloody violence and a lot of this more high-stakes action with Studio Mirror's brilliant animation when we get to the actual fight scenes. Plus, we also get a cool fight between Orphan and Shiva in a mother and daughter display. So, I do think that Shiva does get a little over the top near the end of her part, but considering that she's literally trying every last resort to get to her daughter, I can forgive that. Plus, not only that, but we also get a big focus about Cheshire and her daughter, considering that her daughter still sees Cheshire as the assassin that she was built into being via Sportsmaster. So she ends up going over to her sensei's place to try and settle things, where I think the voice actresses for both Artemis and Cheshire deserve some props here, because both of them managed to get a really emotional scene done throughout, considering that both of them have to deal with the fact that they were built into people they didn't want to be, built into living weapons, and Cheshire feels she's just too much like her dad. I think it was a scene that was really well done, especially since we get to learn more about Onyx and her family, and we get an appearance from Ra's al Ghul to top things off at that part of the episode. On top of that, we also get a little bit of Superman's family. Yeah, the good old Kent family, as they happen to explain to Connor's nephew about what happened to Connor. They're really milking this out, and I swear, if they keep on telling us that Superboy is dead and they have him come back near the end of the season, I will say that if that's the case, it'll make all these emotional scenes seem meaningless. But if they're actually going through with keeping Superboy dead for the rest of the whole show, then I will say these emotional scenes are pretty well done and pretty poignant, especially since explaining a death to a child is never easy, and I think they handle it about as well as they could have here. Granted, like I said, this episode isn't perfect. There are a lot of stills near the end. I guess they ran out of a budget and they tried to save it for the parts of the episode that really matter. But I really do appreciate how the season has delved more into the emotional aspects of our characters and have given us these complex stories that Young Justice is great at, complete with Greg Weisman doing a good job keeping the writing taut, focused, and with a dark edge, without seeming overly edgy. It's benefited from streaming on HBO Max, and so far this season really has impressed me. So I'm looking forward to seeing what arc we get next week. See you later.